Hey everybody, this is Jim Grisanzio from the Oracle Groundbreakers team. Welcome back. We're continuing our interview series here for the Oracle Groundbreakers India Yatra. And tonight I'm here with Dimitri Gielis from Belgium. And Dimitri is the founder and CEO of United Codes. And we're going to be talking a lot about Apex tonight because that's what Dimitri is presenting on at the conference. Dimitri, welcome. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for inviting me.
It's very nice to meet you. This is our first time meeting. In fact, I think every single interview I've done so far for the show is, and I think this is, I think you're actually, you're my 22nd interview, and 21 of them are brand new. So that's good. There's 21 new friends I've met. I did this specifically. You know, I looked at the entire agenda, and if I knew somebody, I said, no, I have to push that to the next one. You know, so I want to meet new people, and it's been very, very successful. So before we talk about some of the issues that we generally talk about in these interviews, I was wondering, you know, since I've just, first met you here just a moment ago, maybe you can give us a little bit of just a few minutes on who you are and what you do.
So I am really passionate about Oracle Application Express. I live in Belgium. I have 3 kids. And I'm really passionate about technology in general. So I spend a lot of time there. And I also built a company around that, around Oracle Apex and around technology in general. So I also like to travel and share my knowledge. Like in 2006, I started a blog, and I love to just give people ideas. So yeah, I spend a lot of my time on doing research, developing things, trying to work with other people. Yeah, and in my free time, for example, I love to play soccer. So it's in Belgium it's like football, but I guess in the rest of the world it's called soccer. And yeah, so next to my hobby, which is my profession, building things with Oracle Apex, I play soccer. I play with my kids. So yeah, that's a bit.
Cool, cool. I will definitely get into a few of those bits for sure. The Belgian bit is most interesting to me, actually, because I was in Brussels for the first time in January, right before all the fun started, and it was a fantastic trip. I was there for Potsdam, and which was a really interesting conference. I don't know, like 10,000 people or something like that, all at a university. When I think about it now, because we were stuffed into these rooms like this, one just on top of each other, the social distancing concept just hadn't been implemented yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it was really good. I was there with the Java team from Oracle, and with the MySQL, I did some interviews with the MySQL community as well. It was really, really an interesting event, and I loved the food there. I was just in Belgium. It was just a great event.
But don't you find the Potsdam conference very different from other Oracle conferences?
Oh yeah, I mean it's not an Oracle it's a community conference. I mean
Exactly.
It's completely different. I mean it's not a corporate event. I used to work at Sun. We would do. Yeah, there would be Sun Microsystems, corporate events, Oracle events. Eventually, obviously, after the acquisition, and other vendors are doing events, and I've been to them. They all have a similar feel. They're all corporate events. This was a messy community event. It was well organized as well. Just the community, and. It was very good, very, very good. Lots of talent there, lots of discussions that, you wouldn't necessarily hear in a corporate space, So I was going to say I'd love to go next year, but I just don't, I can't imagine that because it was so big and we were cramped into such of these little spaces, those little
Yeah.
rooms. So, which is part of the charm of it. So, but
I've
anyway,
been there
let's,
once. Yeah.
yeah, no, go ahead. Once.
And I really love that people are passionate about what they do, and like you feel the technology that hangs around,
Yeah.
and like all those people, like many nerds, like are there. So it's like an amazing experience, and you find a lot of that in other, like when I go to Oracle conferences, I find a lot of like the passion, especially in the Apex community. There's a lot of passion, so
Yeah.
I find that a lot too. So it's really
Yeah.
nice.
I definitely want to talk about your passion for Apex. I haven't been that involved with the Apex developers. I've interviewed a couple of them,
Mhm.
whether they're at Oracle or outside the company, but I haven't been that involved. So I mean, and actually, they are very, very passionate. You bring that up. It's something I've noticed. They sort of, it just comes out, right? It's very, very
Mhm.
obvious. So why is that? Let's just start off there. Why is that?
Because like Oracle never really pushed Apex, and like Apex was part of the database, and there was no license cost involved with it. So for Oracle sales, there was no incentive to sell this. Like, yeah, you get it as part of the database, but that's about it. And so we were this small team. Like I'm an ex-Oracle employee too, but like regardless of that, like it's a very small team, and they really like stick together. So the development team is really nice, and they listen to the community. I was one of the first people. Like for example, I organized uh, an Apex meetup at Open World in 2006, I think. Um, so it was just like the core development team of Oracle, and then a few people who were passionate about the tool, and we stick together, and like it was really friendly, and like this grew organically, and like the community drove the product forward or and spread the word, and it was really nice. And like there was tremendous support of the Oracle development team, and it was very different from the big giant Oracle that everybody knows, and like which is hard to proceed, and our approach, like this team was very different. And so it's like a new kind of Oracle. And this all started in 2006. Now Oracle changed, and with the Oracle Cloud, things changed a lot.
Yeah.
And Apex got a lot more exposure. And now, like Oracle puts actually like more effort into like the low code platform, low code world, and like Apex fits really nicely in that. So things changed over time, but like I think the community is still like this. It grew a lot, of course, like it grew exponentially, but it's still very nice. Like all the people are really passionate about the product and try to help each other. um yeah, it's, I think it comes a bit from that. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned it, it, it grew from humble beginnings. You know, I think a lot of times in technology, new products are created intentionally with very sophisticated plans and the marketing releases and big shows and stuff like that. And a lot of resources are put behind them. And that's fine, but all I'm saying is that there's also many examples, this obviously maybe is one of them, where technology grew from very, very humble beginnings, and, almost as maybe a result of something else, but just because it was good and people were interested in it. And I mean, there's many, many examples of this. So interesting history. I didn't know that. Okay, so you're talking about Apex at your presentation, which you told me a little bit earlier that you've already done. So tell me about this print and export data bit that you talked about, and what was maybe the reaction? How did it go?
Yeah, so first maybe, so I talked about an extension that we built in our company for Oracle Application Express, which allows to very easily export the data in the format that you want. And we make it very easy, so business users, they find like the look and feel of the documents that they want, and in one click they have this. So that was a bit the topic, and like we developed this 5 years ago, but it's especially the last 3 years, I would say, that we get a lot more traction, especially also from India. So I was really interested. Like I meet all those people through the internet. They ask questions on the forum, or they send us an email, and or like many as well. Like there are European companies or American companies, but they work with people from India. So we get, even from that side, like many connections. So I really wanted to like meet a few of those people. Unfortunately, it wasn't live. I really want to see also the country. I'm really like into meeting new like countries and a way of livings, and how do people live like next to the technology that they do. So, but it was nice. Like I presented last week. There were about like a bit more, over 100 people. So it was, and like they asked like questions, and it was really nice. Like I really enjoyed it. I hope the people enjoyed it as well. So yeah.
Yeah, they are in general very chatty, you know. So if you're presenting a really interesting topic, you're going to get a reaction, you know. And when you go there, maybe next year or the year after, or maybe the year after that, you know, for this conference, or Sangam is an annual event that they run in December, or for the OGYatra tour. They're very, you know, it's sort of multiple cities, you know, and it's interesting to go to multiple cities because you get a you know, very different feel. Each city is different. And, but yeah, they're very friendly people. They're engaging. They're smart. There's a lot of developers and DBAs there. And the Oracle community is changing. It's maturing, you know. It's becoming, there's more developers there than DBAs. I should say that is actually the number of developers is growing, so the ratio is different. They're just mixing. Skills are basically mixing. So yeah, so maybe I'll see you. I'm not that far away. I'm in Japan, so I've been there many times, and it's always a cool experience. So
Yeah,
okay,
Japan is another country that I really want to see one day. It's really interesting.
yeah.
Like I've never been there, so
That's also very different, especially for
yes.
especially for Westerners. When you land, you immediately realize that the world spins in the other direction. You know, it doesn't.
Oh,
I don't know if it goes this way. It actually goes that way. Yeah, no, it's very different experience. So also great, but just very different. Okay, so glad your presentation went well. So that's good. You're also an Oracle ACE director, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. How long have you been in the ACE program?
oh, I think now, what is it, over 10 years?
Oh, okay.
I forgot the exact date, but like, yeah, already for quite some time. And it's really nice. Like when I just started, like in 2004, and like you have some heroes, right? You look up to certain people, and like Tom Kite was one of them. And like you just admire those people, and you want to go to be as good as those. And like the ACE program was a bit that thing too. Like you had many great people, and they got this recognition from Oracle, and you said, wow, this is nice. And then one day, like one ACE director nominated me to become one, and it was Louis Cunningham. Like I still remember him, and it was so nice. Like from suddenly you're part of this group that you always admired, and
Right.
it's amazing feeling. And so then you try to share your knowledge that you have, and like it's a very nice program to be in. Oracle does a lot for it. Like it gives like information, and it's nice to be with like the same kind of passionate people, and share ideas, and like we are, I would say many are friends. So I like it to be in the program.
Any tips for people that are maybe young people, like just imagine you're at a conference, you're presenting, and you have one of your slides that says you're in your Oracle ACE director, and then somebody comes up, like maybe a student or something, somebody young comes up and say, hey, how do I do that? How do I get involved and do that? Any
Like
tips?
my advice would be don't be afraid and learn as much as you can and share straight away.
Mm.
Like everybody started somewhere. And if you start to share, you get other like other ideas and people, you enrich yourself even more, but you share things. And like this happened to me. Like I started the blog because I was learning on Apex and I started to write about the things that I loved and what I learned. But people, they saw it and they liked it and they followed along, and then like it's really good. So don't be scared. Learn as much as you can. Be passionate about the things that you do. Like really get into it and share, and then suddenly it's there. Like and present. Like don't be afraid. Everybody started somewhere. Everybody just go on stage, even if you just started, and say like, hey, I'm a starter. This is what I learned today. And you grow. And it's really like this is how it should be.
So it sounds like when you describe like your passion for Apex, your passion for the ACE community, it seems like you're talking about community a lot. I mean, you're saying earlier that you've done a lot of travel, before this year, obviously. How have you been sort of getting on now? If you've done a lot of travel, how do you do now with everything being virtual?
So to be honest, it's a bit hard because like I like to travel. I like to meet people in person. And it's not just about like the technology. It's also like after the conference, you have a drink and you learn to know each other on a different level. And it's nice. And suddenly like you're in this lockdown. Before, like last year, for example, I traveled 1 week a month. And suddenly you go from so much to nothing.
Right.
And I still like to share the things that I know, and like I still have the passion, and I like to like spread the word if you want. So I still gave presentations online, like I still did all that. But it's different. Like you deliver, you have this Q&A afterwards, and then it stops, and that's a bit of pity. Like you to a certain extent you can replace a conference by just the content,
Right.
but a big portion you cannot like replace. It's the portion next to two sessions. You sit next to each other, you start to talk about like a project you've been working on, and this is where you learn so much because you talk about your specific case, and like this goes away. Also, like if you have a personal relation with somebody, then it makes it so much easier when you send an email about like, hey, you presented on this, I have this case, you remember like we were having a drink, and like it's very different from like, no, I sometimes get an email like, hey, thank you for presenting, I followed your seminar or webinar, and this is my problem. But like you don't really know what it was. Like when I was in Singapore, there were two people, they came from like a different country specific for my session, and like they came afterwards to me and they said, hey Dimitri, do you want to get a drink? And like I said, sure, let's have a drink. Like they gave me a coffee or like a tea, like something very specific for Singapore.
Right.
I just loved it. And like this way you remember those. Like if they send me an email, I will remember them. Like
Right.
and with like online, you don't really have that. So I really miss that. So I look forward that Corona is over and that we can travel again and come together. But like, yeah.
Well, some places are doing better than others, right?
Yeah, Belgium was on the blacklist for a long time, but I think now it's a bit different. But yeah.
Yeah. So what's up? What's up with you next after this? So you're gonna since there's a conference every single week now. going to continue presenting specifically about Apex since that's your area of focus?
Yeah, I'll present on like most of the time I present on Apex. So I like 2 days ago I did for Australia user group, or yesterday actually I presented another topic. Like I think like no, I will be on holiday next week. I will be on holiday, and in August I don't think I have a presentation planned. But like in September and October, there's like in Slovenia and Croatia there are some conferences. Who knows? Maybe in person, but probably not. Like I really look forward to go to Open World. Like this year it's in Las
Yeah.
Vegas, so I submitted for that as well. And like I don't know if I would have been accepted, but like last year I presented at Open World, and like it would have been so cool. The first Open World at Las Vegas. I really wanted to see it, but yeah, it didn't go through. So we'll have to
Yeah, I
wait.
was looking forward to it as well. I haven't been to Las Vegas since I was at 3Com, and that's 1999. That's the last time I've been to Las Vegas, and it's a completely different city now. So, well, hopefully sometime in the not too distant future, we'll be out, so we'll be out and about again. Because the things that you've mentioned have been similar to what other people say as well. The online is good. It's cool. You can do a lot of content. You can cover a lot of ground quickly. But the missing of that human element and it's not just making friends. There's a huge amount of content that's delivered in a different way when you're like at the coffee shop, like you mentioned, or just having a drink. Every single conference I've ever been to for this business, you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you don't go to bed until 2, 3 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning. I mean, it's a highly condensed amount of work that you do in a very short amount of time. So anyway, Dimitri, thank you very much for coming by. Appreciate it. Glad things went well at the event, and hopefully we'll see you sometime in Europe or someplace soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jim.
Thanks.
Have a
Be
great
good
day.
now. All right. Bye-bye now.